You've worked for the federal government. You have great health insurance, FEHB. You go out on retirement, eligible to keep that health insurance. So why the heck do you need this Medicare thing at 65? And do you really need Medicare Part B? Well, if you've ever wondered the answer to that question, then stay tuned for this FERS Federal Fact Check. Hi, I'm Micah with Plan Your Federal Retirement, and welcome to today's FERS Federal Fact Check. We have an excellent question from Russell, and this is a question I get all of the time, and I understand it. It's very complex on one hand, and the other thing is your benefits are changing, but they shouldn't. So why does this take place? Let's look at what Russell has to ask. Do I need Medicare Part B if I have FEHB? I find it hard to believe that Medicare Part B covers something that my FEHB does not. So please provide some exact examples of the gaps and medical surprises where my FEHB does not cover something that is already covered by Medicare Part B. Boy, that is a great question, Russell. I am going to share my experiences that I have had with clients with you. That is the best evidence that I can give you. And take it for what it is. If you don't want to believe me, then that's okay. And at the end of this, I'll talk to my clients that really don't want Medicare and how we go about planning for that. I had a client, we'll call him Bob. Bob went to retire at 65, had all of the great service, had FEHB, etc. We had a Medicare conversation. I said, Bob, you really need Medicare Part B. He disagreed with me. Long story short, he opted not to. I said, hey, there's a penalty if you don't do it. And his comment is, Micah, I've had FEHB my entire life. There's no reason that Medicare Part B is going to provide me any additional benefit. He went and got shoulder surgery done that next month. Let me know very well that FEHB covered everything. It was fantastic. There was no problems whatsoever. 5 years later, he's now 70 years young. He goes and needs to get the other shoulder done. Same type of procedure, same physician, same surgery center. Everything's the same. After he goes in for his initial visit, they go to the billing department, it's back out. They said, oh, by the way, you need to pay $15,000 before we can do the surgery. He's like, no, you don't understand. I have FEHB insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and they're going to cover it. And she's like, no, because you're not under Medicare, you have to pay the $15,000 out of pocket. This is my concern. It's not, Russell, so much what I know today. It's what I see insurance companies doing. And what do they do when they are, if there's any opportunity for them not to pay the bill, they say someone else is obligated to do that. And we see these changes in coverages happening a little bit more and more and more. Now, maybe it's a little bit more for me because I live in Alaska and our cost of medical is quite high. So we're seeing some of these disparities kind of drawn out, but I've also seen it with clients in the lower 48. So what Bob had to do is he contacted me. He told me this, and I said, all right, Bob, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go sign up for Medicare. Unfortunately, you're 5 years delayed. That's a penalty of 10% per year. That's a 50% permanent penalty on his Medicare Part B premium that never goes away. We got signed up for Medicare Part B. So Russell, my concern is these types of stories, and I have dozens of them that I could share that come up. So if you really don't want Medicare Part B, not a problem. I tell my clients that don't want this, we need to budget $8,000 to $10,000 a year in expenses that will not be covered. Now, as long as you're okay with that, and financially you can afford that, you're probably going to be okay. Are we rolling the dice a little bit? Absolutely we are, right? Because we don't know what these changes are going to be. That's why I default to Medicare Part B. The other thing to think about, Russell, depending on where you're at, there are some really good FEHB plans. I'll pick on Blue Cross because that's what most people have, is moving from the standard plan to the basic plan. And in the basic plan, it has a reimbursement from Medicare Part B and the premium is less. And then all your deductibles and copays are kind of waived if you're under Medicare Part B. So there are some ancillary benefits there. I totally get the confusion and the frustration with it. So again, that's just our thoughts coming from Alaska and what we see working with federal employee clients across the globe and why we continue to recommend that Medicare Part B to our retirees. If you have a question like Russell's, then jump on our website, planyourfederalretirement.com, leave some comments, and you could be featured in our next FERS Federal Fact Check. Till then, happy planning.